David Johnston is in a clear conflict of interest. He was a member of the Trudeau Foundation and he's a friend of the Prime Minister's. He released a report meant to whitewash Beijing's influence with the Liberal government and Beijing's interference in our elections. But this whitewash is what he was always going to do, wasn't it? After all, he's there as a special advisor exclusively for the Prime Minister. Canadians have rejected Johnston's cover-up, and they want the facts from this Prime Minister. Will he call a public inquiry today?
Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Intergovernmental Affairs, Infrastructure and Communities.
Madam Speaker, while foreign state actors are trying to undermine our democracy, the members of the Conservative Party are actually assisting when they stand there and spread and take personal attacks about those who are serving our country to bring forward reports on how we can move forward with better measures to improve our democratic institutions. The member opposite talked about facts. If they care about facts, Madam Speaker, their leaders should get the briefing and learn the facts about the foreign interference in this country.
The Parliamentary Secretary wants facts. Here's a fact. A majority of members of this House, representing a majority of Canadians, voted to have a public inquiry and to fire David Johnston. But this Prime Minister continues to ignore that in favor of his cover-up man, his ski buddy, his Beijing-funded Trudeau Foundation board members. Canadians saw straight through this sham, and they want information, and that's why this House voted for a public inquiry. The Prime Minister might not like it, but that's what this House called for. Will he call one today?
Hear, hear. Parliamentary Secretary.
Madam Speaker, Canadians can see when it comes to matters of national security, the Conservatives are just not fit to lead. They are immature when it comes to these matters. Rather than talking about the actual measures and recommendations in the Right Honourable David Johnston's report, instead, if you listen to that member's question, it was nothing but personal political attacks, Madam Speaker. It was not about the interests in Canadians and protecting our democratic institutions. It's about partisan games for the Conservatives. On this side of the House, we're going to focus on protecting Canadian democracy.
Hear, hear. If the Parliamentary Secretary wants to protect Canadian democracy, she would have her Prime Minister call a full, public, independent inquiry. That is what this House has twice voted to do. The Special Rapporteur declined to do so, saying that he doesn't work for Parliament. He's not accountable to Parliament. He works only for the Prime Minister. Everyone agrees we need a public inquiry, except for those who work for the Liberal government or work for the Trudeau Foundation. Canadians want a public inquiry. This House has twice voted for one. Will the Liberals do the right thing and call a full public inquiry?
Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Madam Speaker, how could we take lessons from the party opposite when they won't even take the basic minimum national security briefing on this very matter? Madam Speaker, the Conservatives would rather operate under a veil of ignorance. We expect all members of this House to come forward. Opposition parties may criticize our government, but Canadians expect them to at least do so with information and the facts. While Conservatives ignore to take briefings on national security, we can't take them very seriously.